Hello. So we are starting some good series right now, and this one is a deeper series. I might know because I'm like simultaneously running too many series over here, but this would be the most complex of all the series because here we are going to understand the applications of Sanskrit, the application of the Rig Veda. Okay, and this series is the deeper version of understanding the Hindu Vedas, how they are classified, how they are written, except for the stories. Okay, all the stories that are going on the basis of Vedas. But what is the actual meaning behind everything? How is everything formulated? For this, we need to understand Sanskrit. We need to understand how Sanskrit is made, and from Vedas, how do we understand characteristics and the mantra shastras, also the deeper meaning of life. Okay, so we are just starting with the basics right now today. This video is just about the basics. I might give you some examples, and heading forward from Sanskrit we'll study Panchang. Okay, from how Panchang is made, what is Panchang, and we would also study the names of the gods and how it is made, what are the correlations from the Sanskrit words, and everything like that. Okay, so I will just start over here, and as we go on, things will be more and more clear. Okay, let's go on. I'll get the light on the board. Since today is the time of Vedas, okay, I am starting Rig Veda. So things would be a little complicated, yet anyone who would have doubts would resolve it. Okay. So first of all, how is Sanskrit made? Okay. So everything about Sanskrit is made from our Vedas. Okay. And each and everything in the Vedas is primarily categorized into three things. That is Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra. Okay. It is also said that there is one entity in the nature who is above the Trinity. Okay, the Trinity is Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra. And something which is above Trinity is the Shunya. Okay, where everything starts and where everything ends. Okay, and that Shunya is the extra three characteristics. Okay. So first we'll just see about the things, how everything is made. So taking in consideration, okay, let's see over here. We always know that 3 square plus 4 square is equals to 5 square. Okay, simple rule. 3 square plus 4 square is equal to 5 square. See, Sanskrit is a mathematical language, and to understand Sanskrit, one must always know what is to be known and what is to be focused at. Right? So, in this mathematical language, we have 9 semivowels, okay, categorized in a category of 2, which represents the 2 nodes, that is Rahu and Ketu, which is 9, which is a 3 square. Okay. Then it is vowels, which are categorized also in 2 parts. There are 12 vowels and 4 doors, okay, from where you enter. These 12 vowels are categorized as sun plus these 4 directions. Okay. What is number 4? Number 4 is the traditional number of direction. Okay, and this number 12 is the 12 Adityas, the 12 suns, or say the 12 meridian of the body. Okay, So this inconsiderable becomes 16, which is the square of 4. Okay, and here is the sustenance, our consonants. Okay, the consonants in the Sanskrit is what shows the sustenance of the being. Okay, so from the vowels, that is Brahma, that is formation, the creation. Brahma is the creator. Okay, so over here, this is creation. Okay, this is creation, which is Brahma. And what else is creation? Creation is the mind. Because see, everything exists. Everything exists. Everything existed before you. Everything will exist after you. Whatever you create is created from your mind. Getting my point? You create this home, it is created from your mind. You create this t-shirt, this is created from mind. Now consider the world before everything was existed. Okay, we are Adivasis. Okay, we don't have anything in life. All we have is a place to live, that is earth. We don't have even clothes. Okay, we are new. Very good. So everything that is around you already existed. Okay, now whatever is created after you are created is Brahma. You create a son or daughter, okay, your progeny, or what you say, what your progeny, whatever you say, in British or US English, but isn't your children also your creation? Obviously yes. So everything over here is a creation. That is why we say that everything is Maya, everything is Brahma. See, there is a thin line of difference between Brahma and Maya. We will again study it later. But see, everything is Brahma, and Brahma is creation. Who is creating? The mind is creating. Everything is created by the mind. The language is created by the mind. What I am speaking is created by the mind. You call this hairs, created the mind. Did God come over here and told you that you have to call this as hairs? No. So everything is created by mind. Mind is the sole creator of everything, and that is why the vowels are categorized as sun, and sun is categorized as the mind. Now why there are 12 vowels? Because primarily there are 12 antyas which are mentioned in our Vedas. Biologically speaking, there are 12 meridians in our body which connects to the 12 systems of the body. Okay. So what is to be created first? What comes first when you are creating a human being? What comes first? What would you create? Obviously you will create skeletons, okay, bones. You need a dhacha, okay, you need a dhacha for everything, for creation. So when bones are created, okay, you make a skeleton. So consider that God is now making a human. Okay, so how would God make a human? Okay, first of all, He will make a skeleton out of skeleton. Okay, where everything is going to fit. How we will have these 4 hands, 2 hands, 2 legs. Okay, 4 limbs. That's all that. Okay. So first you make a skeleton out of something. After that you can add something to it. That skeleton is made up of calcium. What gives calcium a support in the body? That is vitamin D. Okay. What helps in the production of vitamin D? The sun. Further, talking about this number 12. What is number 12? We have 12 systems in our body, like circulatory system, digestive system, excretory system, blah blah blah. Okay, And all these 12 systems are conjoined with our brain. And when all these 12 systems are conjoined with the brain, they are connected with the 12 meridians of the body. Now these 12 meridians of the body are responsible for the entire functioning of the body. See, first of all, don't think that everything which is explained in Vedas is about something else. Okay, the sole purpose of the Veda is it is explaining you yourself. See, it is said that the universe is inside you. You are the universe itself. Okay, and then in Vedas you are studying the universe. So indirectly, what you are studying? You are studying yourself. Getting my point? So these 12 vowels are considered as the sun, and this head is considered as the sun. Because if you don't have this head is the only thing that is supplying energy to the whole body. It is the only thing that is responsible for the pigmentation which helps in the process of vitamin D production and keeping your bones or the skeletal system intact. Okay, so when we talk about creation, when we talk about Brahma, what we see first? We see first the 12 vowels. That is why it is also mentioned that the Sun Lord had 12 horses in the chariot. Okay, when the Sun Lord comes, okay, and if you see the photo of the Sun Lord, it would have a chariot which he is riding, and it would be having 12 horses. There are also the names of all these 12 horses. Okay, so those 12 horses are 12 vowels of the Sanskrit. So whenever you speak out all these vowels, okay, a, e, I, o, what do you notice? A, I, o, a. Do you notice something? Your tongue is neither touching the top nor touching the bottom. It is stable in the between. Okay, whenever you speak. See, tongue is a very important thing because tongue is the key of the circuit. Our body has an internal circuit inside it. Okay, when you study tantric, okay, so this Tantra Vidya is based on moving electric current inside your body. Okay, and when you move electric current inside your body, you must have a switch. Okay, you must have a switch. See, if this is your body, okay, right? This is the worst diagram of the body. Let's consider it like this. Okay, this is the head, this is the pelvis. Okay. Now see, if this is the body. I hope everyone can see. Sorry for the deflection, by the way. My front camera has some issues regarding this mirroring issue. That is why I am going to use this back camera and I am having some problems. So, let's talk. This is the head, okay. This is the pelvis. Getting my point? Now, the circuit is moving like this. The current is moving like this over here. Our heart acts like a capacitor. And our root chakra acts like an inductor. Okay. Over here, our throat chakra is a resistor. Okay. And our tongue is the key. Okay, so our tongue is the key. Now, when you stick the tongue to the upper jaw, okay, the palatal, the upper jaw, when you stick the tongue to the upper jaw like this, okay, that is when you complete this circuit. And now when you have completed this circuit, the current will move from here, the capacitor, the inductor, and it will again flow back to the capacitor, resistor and above. Okay, so this circuit will get completed. This is how you do meditation inside the body. You move currents inside the body. You charge the internal circuit of the body. But let's not go into so much deeper thing right now, because meditation is still, I don't know, after a year I would come teaching meditation, because this is still the basics going on right now. So this is how you complete the internal circuit. So whenever you want to charge yourself, okay, that is when you meditate with the tongue stick to the upper jaw. That is how you are sustaining and moving the charges inside the body. When you want to discharge yourself, okay, at that time you keep the circuit open, so everything comes out from the tongue itself. Okay, so tongue is the switch, it is the key. When you connect it up, the circuit flows. When you connect it down, the circuit is out. That is why if you see Kali, Lord Goddess Kali, okay, what is the Kali? Kali is giving out its anger by removing the tongue. See, this is a very deep funda of tantric meditation. Because when you meditate, it is nothing else but moving energies inside the body. Okay, so if you see the portrait of Kali, the tongue is out. So what is the portrait of Kali showing? Kali's portrait is showing that the tongue is out. It means all the energy and anger and rage and all the energy of darkness is coming out, because Kali is also darkness. Kali is the goddess of Saturn. Okay, it is all the darkness that you have accumulated in your life. Getting a point? So it is coming out from the tongue. Getting my point? In reverse, if you see Mahadev, Lord Shiva, what happens when someone crushes your neck like this? Have you ever noticed? Okay, if I hold your neck like this, okay, and totally like gasp you like this, what will happen? Subconsciously, your tongue will stick to the upper jaw. That is the reason why Lord Shiva keeps Vasuki Nag in his neck. Okay, the Vasuki Nag is nothing else, but it helps him to continuously choke his neck in order so his tongue would continuously stick to the upper jaw. And this is how he would continuously be in the meditative state. Okay, see, there are lots of profound knowledge I am going to give out right now in the YouTube. I don't know whether people have given it out or not. But yes, still, if you need to go into deeper studies, you need to have a clear idea about it. So it was just a basic idea about the body circuit, where the root chakra acts like an inductor, the heart acts like a capacitor, the throat as the resistor. And when you meditate and move energies, okay, it is going to move up and down. Getting my point? So as we were saying, so all these energies are to be circulated inside the body. Okay, and from the brain, okay, from the brain through the brainstem, there are 12 meridians or 12 nerves which are going throughout the body. And those 12 meridians, 12 major nerves are categorized as 12 Adityas. Okay, they are categorized as 12 Adityas. Getting my point? So when you say vowels, a, e, a, I, o, ah. You see, the tongue does not touch the upper jaw. That means sun radiates. Sun is giving out. Sun is radiating. Isn't the sun radiating? Yes, sun is radiating energy. See how deep the Sanskrit is made. Nobody knows it. But it is when a person truly researches upon every and each and every minute thing, you can understand everything. So isn't sun radiating? Sun is radiating. Sun is of course radiating. So what you are doing when you are speaking vowels? I, O, ah. You are radiating out because none of it, the circuit is complete, the circuit is open. So with every vowel, you are radiating energy outside the body. That is why every vowel is connected to the sun. Okay, and what is sun doing? Sun is radiating. Okay, sun is radiating. Now, what are these four extra vowels? Ri, ru, ri, ru. Okay, ri, ru, ri, ru. Peculiar, right? Ri, ru, ri, ru. See, there are planes. We have 4 planes, and for the 4 planes, we have 4 centers. Okay. The first plane is when we cut down the body from right and left. Okay, and the center of the plane is our Shushmala Nadi. Okay, the middle Nadi. Okay, it cut down the body into 2 parts, right and left. Okay, the second plane is the front and the back plane. The energies of the front side of the body, the energies of the back side of the body. The conscious mind, the subconscious mind. That is the second plane. Over here also, what is the center? The center is Shushmala Nadi. Again, okay. The third plane. The third plane is what we cut from the navel. Okay. The body above our navel, the body below our navel. So what is the center? The center is the navel. The navel. Because when you are born, okay, there is a cord connected with the navel. That is where you are getting all the energy. So from the place, from the chakras below the navel and the chakras above the navel, there is the third plane. Okay. Now talking about the fourth plane, which is highly profound and highly secret. It is based on the heart chakra. Okay, because heart chakra is the only chakra that has 4 outlets or inlets. Okay, the front, the back, okay, and the sideways. So over here, when the heart chakra becomes the center, your body is divided into 2 parts. The one part consists of something below the body. Everything below the body. Okay, and another part consists of everything above the body. Okay, so who is the center over here? The center is the throat chakra. Okay, so the throat chakra divides the body into 2 parts: Rahu and Ketu, head and tail. Okay, but who controls Rahu and Ketu? Who controls this above part and below part? What controls the energy to be transmitted on the head and the below? The 2 big nerves which are called vagus nerve. Okay. Sorry. The 2 big nerves which are called vena cava. Okay, of the heart. The superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. Okay. The superior vena cava from the heart is responsible to send all the signals to the head. Okay, it is responsible for sending every signal to the head and back. Similarly, inferior vena cava is responsible to send every signal to the tail. So now you guys will be thinking that if it is the heart, then why are we taking center as the neck? Okay, because heart is the capacitor. And the job of the capacitor is not to distinguish two parts. It is just to channelize energy into two parts. Okay, now if you see, more energy is utilized over here and less energy is utilized below. But the length of flow of energy is higher below the body and it is lower in the head. So when we calculate the average, okay, by center of mass, the center of mass comes to the throat. That is the Vishuddha Chakra. Okay, that is why throat chakra is the center of the fourth plane, the Rahu and Ketu. So these are the center of the fourth plane. Ri, Ru, Ri, Ru. Okay. So combining these vowels from the four planes of the body, from the 12 meridians of the body, connected with our skeletal system, forms Brahma, that is creation. We are created from merely this thing. Okay, we are created from this thing. The creation game ends over here. Everything after this in the body is sustenance. Everything. Okay. So creation is just until over here. Okay. If you reach over here, there is creation. Okay, the creation ends over here. Because in the need of creation, we just need a heart with two major veins, inferior and superior vena cava, a skeletal system, 12 meridians and 4 planes. That's all. That's all. Okay, everything else comes in the system of circulation. Okay, what is circulation? Circulation is needed for sustenance. Okay, circulation is needed for sustenance. Circulation is not at all needed for creation. For creation, it is just needed the sun with 12 meridians and 4 planes. And what does sun do? Sun does the work of radiating. So when you radiate, you continuously create. Why radiate? Now some people will ask, why radiate? Because when you radiate, you are continuously creating. Take an example of a simple bulb. Okay, simple bulb. There is a bulb. How can a bulb continuously give light? A bulb will continuously give light when it is continuously radiating heat. Okay. So that is why for a continuous creation, one needs continuous radiation. That is the job of the sun. Getting my point? So that is sun, who is the creator, who is also the mind, and who does all the things of radiation. With radiation, the creation is complete. Okay, take the example of the sun. Sun is radiating its energy. The creation is complete. From the energy of sun, we are utilizing the energy of sun and we are sustaining on this earth and we are circulating on this earth. Okay. So it is our job to sustain. It is our job to circulate. The job of the sun ended. The job of the sun ended after it has radiated. It has given us light. He has completed its job. What more? Getting my point? So, sun has the only job of radiating. With continuous radiation, we have continuous creation. In our body, the continuous radiation comes out from the sun, as we talked about the circuit, internal circuit. And from that circuit, there are 12 meridians and 4 planes. Okay. So this is where creation ends. Creation ends at the stage of vowels. Getting my point? So now going into consonants, that is Vishnu. Over here, it is sustenance. So when we come to sustenance, now there is the role of planets. And what are the planets? Planets are 7 main systems of our body. The main frame. Okay, the main frame of the body, that is Saturn. Because planets do a job of sustenance. The sun's job is of creation. Sun has done the creation. The sun doesn't care how you sustain. I have given you light. Do what you can. I have given you the soul. Do what you can. I have guided you about everything. If you can't sustain from my guidance, I don't care. As a son, I have radiated. As a son, I have given out my knowledge. If you don't take my knowledge, if you don't understand my knowledge, if you don't be a part in my knowledge, it's not my job. The sun doesn't care. The creator doesn't care. Brahma doesn't care. That is why in our Vedas, through the 4th Veda, it is said that our 4th Veda is our Purans, because Purans are explaining our Vedas. Lord Shiva has peculiarly said not to worship the sun or not to worship the Brahma. Okay. Why he has asked not to worship Brahma? Because Brahma doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything you do. He has given you light. What you do from that light is your job. Okay. So, now coming to the consonants. Now, consonants is something that is necessary for the creation, for the sustenance of life on this earth. Okay. And talking about inside our body, it is the sustenance of our 7 main systems from which our body works. Getting my point? So, what are the consonants? How they are arranged? See, 5 consonants in fire side. Okay, that is ka, kha, ga, gha, ga, anga. Then water, cha, cha, ja, ja, kya. Then earth, ta, tha, da, dha, hana. Then sky, ta, tha, da, dha, na. Okay, and air, pa, fa, ba, pa, ma. Okay. Now see, when you speak ka, kha, ga, gha, hana. Okay, when you speak all these 4 things, okay, the back portion of your tongue touches your upper jaw. Say ka, kha, ga. Okay, see, your back portion of your tongue touches your upper jaw. That is why over here your subconscious mind is a transmitter of fire energy to your mind. Okay, we'll learn this more in the meditative session when we talk about how the body circuits are made. Okay, it is a far too complex and advanced stage. I don't think it might take a year when I will make a video of such meditative thing, because still these are all the basics. Okay, so when you say ka, kha, ga, gha, hana, hana, okay, the lower part of the tongue touches the upper jaw for a minute amount of time. Okay, this is what creates a spark. Okay, so these letters are made to create a spark. From spark, see, you can also send continuous energy when you are meditating inside the body and circulate inside the body, and you can also send sparks. Okay, but see, again, that is the advanced concept I am going into. I don't know why. Okay, so then comes the water sign. Cha, cha, ja, ja, kya. Okay, when you speak these things, okay, the middle portion of the tongue, which is the biggest portion, touches the upper jaw. So there is a massive supply of energy. There is a massive supply of soul energy to the brain. That is why water is the holder of your soul. Water holds your energy. Water holds your soul. The more the water is inside you, the more is the capacity of you holding the soul. Okay, over here, the more the fire inside you, the more spontaneous would be the movement. Okay, okay, I can write the basics over here right now. So, what is this? This is the holding capacity. Okay. I need to use the red pen. This is the holding capacity. Okay. This is holding. Water is used to hold the soul. Okay, that is why it is connected to Venus. This fire or Mars, it is related to spontaneity or movement. Okay, Mars is connected with spontaneity or movement. Now, after it is the earth element. Okay, it is the, tha, the, hana. Hana. Okay, it is hana. So, when you speak the, tha, the, hana. See, there is a change in the circulation. When you want to change the circulation or you want to amplify or reduce the charge, you use the tip of the tongue to attach itself on the jaw. Okay, that is why you use this Mercury letters. Tatha, datha, na. Tatha, datha, hana. Sorry, tatha, datha, hana. Not the tip. A somewhat part below the tip. Okay, the tip is again from the sky element when you want to send a massive bulk of energy. Okay, so this ta, tha, da, dha, ha, when you speak it, there is the side of the tongue which is touching the upper jaw. That is why it is used for transformation. Okay, when you want to transform the current inside your body from DC to AC, or you want to transform the circulation of current from Ida Nadi to Pingala Nadi, that is from down to up and up to down. So what is this used? This is used for change or transformation. When you want to change the current. Okay. So that is why it is Mercury, because Mercury is used for changing. Any type of transformation, any type of change you want to have it in your life, you use Mercury. Why? Because from Mercury you change the current, direction of current. Okay, the correct word is direction of current. Whenever you want to change the direction of current and you want to make yourself the movement of energy from clockwise to anti-clockwise, that is being a masculine and feminine, change your masculine and feminine movement of energy, you use Mercury, that is tatha, datha, hana. Okay. Now, when you talk about ta, tha, da, da, na, okay, when you speak these words, okay, the sky element, this is where the energy is mainly formed and stored. Okay, because see, the tip of the tongue is necessary for the bulk movement of energy. Whenever a bulk movement of energy is given out, you lose energy. You lose a lot of energy and your body contracts. Whenever a bulk of energy is stored, you expand like Jupiter. Okay, so this tatha, dadha, na, over here, whenever you speak tatha, dadha, na, okay, the tip of the tongue is attached to the jaw, and whenever the tip is attached, there is a mass amount of energy going up or either the mass amount of energy coming down. Okay, in each of the way, either it is going to use storage, okay, storage, or formation, or we can say structure, because it is used to change the structure of a body. Okay, either structure or storage. Getting it? Actually, it's more based on the structure. Okay, storage is the part of Saturn. Okay, so I will not write storage over here because storage is more of the more part of the Saturn. It is not the part of Jupiter. Jupiter is the mechanical energy of the body, where the mechanical energy is formed. Okay, so over here it is more based on formation and categorization. Okay, where the energy is categorized. Okay, because it is the intestine which does the work of sending the energy to different parts of the body, sending the water to the kidney, sending nutrition to the blood and everything like that. Okay, and similarly, when you touch the tip of the tongue to the jaw, okay, the circuit is completed. Whenever the circuit is completed with what you say, the peculiar tip of the tongue, okay, it is when the movement of the energy is maximized. Okay, maximized. Okay, maximized. I'm saying it 3 times. Whenever I say something 3 times, you have to think about it, because when the flow is maximized, when the flow of energy is maximized, what is the reduced thing in the body? Resistance. Resistance is nearly 0. Okay, and current is at its maximum stage. That is why when Jupiter is acting, the throat or the Venus is not acting. That is why Jupiter and Venus, that is throat and stomach, are opposing each other, because you can only amplify your current when the resistance is 0. Okay, so when Jupiter is highest at its function, the tongue is sticked up to the jaw like this. Ta, ta, da, da, na. Okay. Now talking about the last thing is pa, 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 ma. Over here, we are not putting our tongue either up or either down, but we are making sure our lips are shut down. Okay. So that is why the sole intention of Saturn is to store. Okay. It is helping in the storage of energy. Okay. Now if you see, Saturn is also the hips, and women have very good Saturn. A Saturn of a woman is more powerful than a Saturn of a male or a man. But the Jupiter of the female is more, Jupiter of the man is more powerful than the Jupiter of female. But just because, I am talking about energy, but just because a woman needs more Jupiterian energy, the woman seeks the man. Because man is the carrier of Jupiterian energy. Getting my point? Man is the carrier of Jupiterian energy. That is why woman seeks man. Because woman needs more Jupiterian energy inside her stomach to raise a child. Getting my point? Now man needs more Saturnian energy. And where is Saturnian energy stored? Saturnian energy is stored in the ovaries of the women. That is why men seek women. Men seek the Saturnian energy from the women. Okay, and from the Saturnian energy of the women, it is this energy which is stored in the ovaries of the female. A man seeks. Okay, and that is what gives the spontaneity to the Mercury of the man. Okay. So if you see clearly, let's make conjoints over here. Okay. See, men and women Okay. Now woman is having Saturn, and it is given to the Mercury of man. Okay, man is having Jupiter, and it is given to the Mars of women. Okay, that is why women is having more pelvis energy. Pelvis is Mars. Mars is the root chakra. Man is having more navel energy. It is the Jupiter. Getting my point? And see what is remaining over here? Venus, because Venus is the fourth center of the the plane. The fourth plane has the center as Venus or the throat chakra. So Venus should be equalized. There is an exchange in Venus. There is an exchange in Venusian energy. What is Venus? Venus is also love, affection. Okay, Venus is also sex, love and affection. Okay, so this Venusian energy is getting exchanged from men and women. Okay, this Jupiterian energy, the carrier of the Jupiterian energy is man. Who is seeking the man Jupiterian energy is the women. How is women seeking the Jupiterian energy? Is from the root chakra of the female. Okay, the female are pulling the solar plexus energy of the man through their root chakra. Okay, the men are pulling the Ajna chakra energy of the Mercury of women through their the men are pulling the Saturnian energy, the sacred energy, okay, the Swadhisthana chakra energy of the women through their Ajna chakra. Okay, that is why a female is called Vamangi of a male. Okay, when we say it as a wife. It is also say, you also say, call your wife in Shuddha Sanskrit as Vamangi. Okay, the Vam is Swadhisthana. Ang is the part, and Angi is the energy of that part. Okay, so your Vamangi is your wife, which means the carrier of your Saturnian energy. Okay, see, Sanskrit is very much complex and very much interesting if you know everything, and if you want to know everything. Okay, that is why it is said that it is inauspicious when women have intercourse or sex with multiple men. Because see, women is the carrier of your sacral or Swadhisthana chakra energy. Now, it is your energy which is stored in her ovaries. You have to utilize that energy. If someone else is having sex with her, your energy is being circulated around the world between many people, which is certainly inauspicious for you. Okay. In order to be more auspicious, that is why our tradition more took part or made that a sati system in the past. Okay, so as soon as the man dies, a woman has to burn. Why? Okay, the reason behind the sati system was the woman carries the Swadhisthana chakra energy of the man, and if the man dies and she has intercourse with some another man, the Swadhisthana chakra energy of the man or the karmic depths of the man goes to the third man or the second man. Okay. So all the good or the bad karmas done by that person is indirectly flowing to the third person. It might also be good, it might also be bad. If the person has done bad karma, the bad karma is transferring to someone else. But if the person has done good karma, the good karma is transferring to someone else. But if your wife is loyal towards you, then it is just your energy who is transferring from her sacral to your Ajna, your Jupiter to her Mars. So this is the type of energy flow a partner should always maintain. Now if there is a third person, okay, over here, if there is a third male or a third female, okay, let's do it in reverse. Okay, if a female is cheating with a guy, okay, and if a guy is cheating with a female, okay, what will happen? What will happen? Okay, see, this Saturnian energy would go towards this female. Okay, this Jupiterian energy of this man will go towards this another man. Okay, so just because this guy is cheating her wife or her spouse, what will happen? The Saturnian energy of this female, which was stored in the Mercury of this man, now shifts towards this another girl or another female who came in between of the connection. Okay, similarly, when this girl cheats with a man, okay, then the Jupiterian energy of this man goes to a third party or the third male through her Mars. Okay, so what is happening? This connection is ruined. Everything is ruined. The total game is finished, vanished, just because you are lustful, just because you can't control your bloody needs. Okay. So it is necessary to be loyal, or that is why it is said, go into brahmacharya and don't share your energies with everyone. If you can't find a loyal partner, don't bloody share your energies with anyone. Because if you are having very good higher planets, very good planets, your energies will be utilized by someone another people through your spouse. Okay, so if you don't get a good spouse, stay alone. Don't spread your energy inside the world. Nobody is worthy of your energy as much as you are. Getting my point? Sattva. Okay. So talking about the consonants. So over here we talked about the consonants or the 5 planets. Now these 5 planets are holding different karmas from your past birth. Okay. First of all, talking about these 5 planets, we have these 5 major systems in our body. Okay. The first system is connected with fire or say Mars. The first system connected with fire or Mars is the circulatory system, the heart. Okay, that is why it starts with ka kha ga gha hana. As I said, the superior and inferior Venakava. Okay, so this Mars controls the circulatory system. Okay, similarly, this Venus controls the reproductive system. Okay, cha 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 gya. Okay. This is Anga. Okay, this is Anga. I don't know why this is Anga. Here comes Anga. So this Venus connects the reproductive system or the genitals. Okay, that is why it is the water element. Right. Similarly, this Earth or Mercury, this Earth element controls Mercury. And this Mercury controls the nervous system. Getting my point? Nervous system. After that comes sky or say Jupiter. Now this Jupiter controls the digestive system. Okay, the mechanical energy of the body, where all the sky element is formed. Okay. And the last but not the least, this air element or Saturn forms the excretory system. Okay, also the kidney system or the excretory system. So these are the 5 systems of your body which is controlled by Vishnu. And who is Vishnu? Vishnu is sustainer. Okay, so after creation comes sustenance. Okay, so here comes sustenance. Okay, so over here was creation and over here is sustenance. Okay, so we can have sustenance from merely this 25 things or the 5 systems of the body. Getting it? Or here are the 5 systems or the 5 elements: fire, water, earth, sky and air. Okay, in this respective manner, fire is controlled by Mars, water Venus, earth Mercury, sky Jupiter, air Saturn. Okay, and what does everything control? This fire controls spontaneity and movement, Venus controls holding of energy, earth, which is Mercury, controls the change of the direction of the flow of energy, the sky controls Jupiter, which controls the formation and categorization of the energy, and the Saturn at last helps in the storage of energy. Okay, so this is how there is a system of sustenance. Okay, over here is the sustenance cycle. See, over here is the cycle of Brahma. Over here is the cycle of Vishnu. See, in the cycle of Vishnu, there is sustenance. Okay, so this will be having a cyclic time. Okay, when you talk about the Kal. Okay, this is going to have a cyclic time. In terms of Brahma, over here it is the linear time. Okay, right. This is the linear time. This is the cyclic time. Okay, and this is the absolute time. Okay, that is the Rudra. Over here it is the absolute time. So talking about over here, see, this was the sun. The sun is the creator. After the sun has created you, after the brain and skeleton system has created you. Okay, now you have skeleton system, now you have brain. Okay, you have 12 major nerves, 4 planes. Okay, so what happens after you have everything? The heart needs to start pumping. After the heart has started pumping, you need something to hold on energy inside. That is the water. That is also the lymphatic system. Okay. After the lymphatic system, you also need to change the current. Okay. That is the mercury. Okay. Mercury is also the nervous system where you send signals. Okay. Signals of the brain. Okay. Because after the storage of soul, you need signals to understand how to move your soul. After you understand the movement of the soul, you need somewhere to store the nutrition, which is taken together. Okay, and you also have to categorize the nutrition and the every place where the nutrition is placed. That is why you see sky or the Jupiter. And after everything, there is storage or Saturn. After everything is made, you have to store and you have to remove something. Okay, so this is also doing the storage and clean. Okay, it also stores and it also cleans. Okay, that is what Saturn is. Saturn also stores and Saturn also cleans. That is why I also say that women cleaners. If you say that I did some bad karma, okay, let's not talk about that thing over here. So Saturn and this cycle. Okay, so these 5 planets are responsible for the sustenance of life. Getting my point? That is why we say the Panch Tattva. When we die, we say the Panch Tattva. When lean ho jana. What is lean ho jana? The soul goes into the Panch Tattva. What is Pran? What is life? Okay, the movement of Pran is life. The movement of soul is life. Okay. The camera again moved, but I can't check every now and then. But okay, so we say the movement of soul is life. Okay, so this is Rahu, your head. Okay, this is your spine. Okay, and this is your pelvis. Okay, this is Rahu. This is Ketu. When the energy is moving from the Rahu and Ketu. Now what does Rahu and Ketu? Rahu and Ketu thus only creates the potential difference. Okay. So the energy is moving from here to here. Okay. And the opposite pole of Rahu and opposite pole of Ketu is creating a potential difference in the body. And because of the potential difference of the body, the energy is flowing upwards and downwards. That is why we say that Rahu eats Ketu and Ketu eats Rahu. The energy of Ketu is pulled by Rahu. Okay, the energy of Rahu is pulled by Ketu. Okay, that is what is happening. Okay, energy is energy is coming up from the right side to the Pingla Nadi over here. That is why we say the right side is controlled by left brain. The energy is coming from right side below to the left brain above, which is the Pingla Nadi. Similarly, the right brain is the Ida Nadi, which is giving the above energy and moving it downwards to the left side. Okay, so over here the energy is coming upwards to the Pingla Nadi, over here it is going downwards to the Ida Nadi. So the function of Pingla Nadi is to bring energy upwards. The function of the Ida Nadi is to bring the energy upwards. This was Ida Nadi, and the function of the Pingla Nadi is to bring the energy downwards. Ida is going up, Pingla is coming down. Okay, that is why Shiva, the masculinity, is also derived from Pingalasya. Okay, if you read Rudri part, if you read the Yajurved, okay, there is Pingalasya, the word Pingalasya, which means Asya means energy, Pingla is the Pingla energy, masculine energy, Pingalasya, okay. So that is why the right side or the right side of the energy which is coming down, okay, the right side of the energy which is coming down, that is the Pingla energy. The left side of the energy, which is going up, is the Ida energy, okay. Ida goes up, Pingla comes down. Ida goes up, Pingla comes down. And what is Sushmana? Sushmana is the middle nadi where the energy is sustaining. So when you move out from this Ida and Pingla, okay, or only then you can focus on the Sushmana nadi which is in the middle. Okay. For that you need that meditative trance stage where you can control the movement of your rectus expanding and contracting, and with that you can control the navel, okay, because inside our body our rectus is connected with our navel, okay. So whenever you do some changes with your rectus, the energy in the navel changes, okay. So rectus is connected with the navel. So when you understand, when you go out from the burden of Ida and Pingla nadi, then you move out from this process of Rahu eating Ketu and Ketu eating Rahu. Because when Ketu is eaten by Rahu, okay, when Rahu eats Ketu, it is Ida. When Ketu eats Rahu, it is Pingla. Okay. When the Rahu energy is pulled down by the Ketu, it is making you masculine. Then it is the Pingla nadi. When the Ketu's energy is aided by Rahu, it is the Ida nadi because it is making you feminine. The energy is put upwards. Okay. So what happens when this alternative current inside the body is stabilized? Okay. What happens when it's stabilized? Okay. When it is stabilized, there is only one place where the current is stabilized, that is in the center. Okay. So when it is stabilized, this alternative current becomes shunya. Okay. Now the current is not flowing up and down. The current is balanced. Okay. So it is giving a continuous luminosity. Consider a continuous luminous tube light. Okay. Where, let's not say tube light, but a continuous luminosity where the current is not flowing with an alternative state. Okay, there is no sine wave and there is no cos wave. Cos wave is Pingla nadi, sine wave is Ida nadi. Cos wave is Pingla nadi, sine wave is Ida nadi. So when we control our Rahu and Ketu, okay, there is no energy which is flowing from Ketu to Rahu, Rahu to Ketu. It is just the Sushmana nadi. Okay, over here in the Sushmana nadi, voltage is 0. Okay, when the voltage is equal, okay, right over here if the voltage is 5, over here the voltage is minus 5, okay. Over here is if voltage is 5, and over here if voltage is minus 5. So one of them is Ida, one of them is Pingla. Okay, at one side voltage is higher. So this energy continuously moves from here to here, from here to here, here to here. Okay, and it decides the direction of energy. But when this voltage is 0, okay, when the voltage is 0, you are not on the Ida nadi or Pingla nadi. Neither your right brain is working nor your left brain is working. Okay, I am not saying working, but neither you are focusing on the right brain, neither you are focusing on the left brain. Where you are focusing? You are focusing on the center, that is pineal gland. The center sphere inside the head, in between which is pineal gland. Okay, when you understand and reach that pineal gland, when you meditate and control that pineal gland, you bloody control the lymphatic system of the body. When you control the lymphatic system, it is end. You know everything about your Venus, you know everything about holding your prana. It gives you prana vidya. Okay, let's not talk about it. It is again a deeper system. So I have just given an idea about how Rahu and Ketu works, Ida and Pingla nadi with, what you say, potential difference. Okay. So talking about this Rahu and Ketu, okay, I don't know why this camera is getting moved. Now, talking about this, about this? Rahu and Ketu. Okay, so as I said, energy flowing both the sides. Okay, so when the Ketu's energy is eaten by Rahu, okay, it is eaten by the swords of Yaralava. So when the Ketu's energy is eaten by Rahu, it is eaten by the swords of Yaralava. When the Rahu's energy is eaten by Ketu, it is eaten by the sword of Ha. Okay. So that is why there are 4 swords related to Rahu, that is the above node, 4 swords related to the Ketu, which are lower node. Okay. And one sword, that is Ksha. The sword of Ksha is connected with the Sushumna Nadi. Okay. That is why there is a word which is highly controversial, which is called moksha. Okay, what is moksha? See over here. Ma, air element. Ksha, Sushumna Nadi. What does air element do? It is Saturn. It cleans. When you have cleaned all your karmas from the Sushumna Nadi, you attain moksha. Moksha. Ksha is Sushumna Nadi. Ma is Saturn. Simple. See, everything is connected over here. What is the first? Who is the first? What do you say? First god in the book Rig Veda. Okay. Who is the first god in Rig Veda? Let's see. So we have Rig Veda over here. The first lord, the first hind of the Rig Veda is made on Agni. Agni. That is sun. Ga, which is fire. Ni, which is sky. Simple. That is sun. Ga, that is fire. And Na, which is sky. Sky element, which is the holder of the fire element. Ga, which is the fire element. That is why it is Agni. Agni, fire. Is the first vowel which is related to the sun. Agni. Agni. Okay, the creation of fire which is giving sky. Okay, very easy. The prefix is what is the creator is. The middle word is what the sustainer is, and the last word is what is the effect, what is the fruit. Okay, so when we talk about Agni, what does Agni give? Agni, the creator, is the sun. God, the sustainer, how it is formed through the fire. And Na, what is formed is the sky element. So first lord is Agni. Very simple name. Agni. From sun comes fire, which is giving as a result, which is giving sky. Simple. Okay. Next is Vayu. The second hind is related to Vayu. Okay, let's see Vayu. Va is Rahu. U is again Rahu. See. And U, where is U? U is sun. Okay. That is why we say Rahu is eating the sun. What is Rahu? Rahu is head. When you reach onto the head, okay, when you reach onto the head, you reach to the head when you go up. What goes up? Air element goes up. Okay, the air goes up inside the body. That is why we say Rahu is eating the sun, Ketu is eating the moon. Okay, Rahu is running after the sun, Ketu is running after the moon. So Rahu, see, Va, Ya, U. Okay. What is the creator? Rahu is the creator. Okay, the north node is creator of the air element. What is the sustainer? Rahu is sustaining. The north node is again sustaining. And what is the fruit? The fruit is the sun. Va, U, U. Okay, prefix, sustainer, suffix. Prefix, sustainer, suffix. What is the creator? What is being created? And what is being sustained? What is being created? What is the creator? Who is the creator? What is how it is created? Sorry, how it is created is the center one. And what is the fruit? Is the suffix. Va, ya, u. Okay, Agni. Simple. Third is Ashwins. Okay, see Ashwins. Sa, Vi, Na. Okay. See, sun is the creator, but over here it us. The under the second letter is half, so we have to consider it us. Okay. So so the sun and Ketu are the creator. Sun and Ketu are the creator. We, Rahu and sun are the sustainer. And what is the fruit we are getting? No, that is sky. Okay. Who were the Ashwins? Ashwins were the doctors. They were having all the medicines. Okay, so what were they controlling? They were controlling Ketu. Okay, so see over here, As, Ketu, V. From where? From where they are getting the knowledge of medicine? From the Rahu itself. Rahu is giving the knowledge of Ketu. So who is the sustainer? Rahu and Surya again. Rahu and Sun, Ashwini. And what is the result? It is the sky. What are they producing? Good life. Okay, they were the sustainers, giving medicine. Ashwina. So, Sanskrit is very deep, my friends. Every secret is in Sanskrit. Every secret. That is why I always say Sanskrit is Amrit. Okay. Where is Amrit? Where is Amrit? Amrit is Sanskrit. Sanskrit is Amrit. Okay. Sanskrit is Amrit. If you know, where did our ancient people hide Amrit? The ancient people hide Amrit in the frequencies of Sanskrit. So where is the Amrit? Where is the Sanjeevani Vidya? Everything is hidden inside the frequencies of Sanskrit. Okay, everything is Sanskrit. So the semi-vowels. Okay, see the semi-vowels. There are 9 main semi-vowels, in which the 4 are related with Rahu and 4 are related with Ketu. Okay, Yara Lava is connected with Rahu. Sa Sha Sha is connected with Ketu. When we say Sha Sha Sha, okay, over here. Sha Sha Sha. Sha Sha Sha. Okay, see. So this lower muscles are getting tightened. The energy is being stopped to get transmitted above the head. Sha Sha Sha. You see, the shoulder also goes like this. Okay, Sha Sha Sha. Over here there is tightness. This tightness is slowing down the movement of energy towards the head. So that is why Sha 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 is given to Ketu. The Ketu is getting the energy. Whenever you say Sha Sha Sha, the energy is moving downwards. Okay. Whenever you say Yara Lava, okay, Yara Lava, see, the mouth is getting open. Yara Lava. Mouth is getting open. And as soon as the mouth is getting open, the small tongue, which is, there is a small tongue above here, bigger tongue. I forgot its biological name. Okay, but there is some biological name which is very good. I can't get it right now. But that small tongue, it is getting fixed, but the big tongue is not getting fixed. Okay, the small tongue which is behind is touching the main tongue, but the main tongue is not touching the upper jaw. But yet it is giving all the energies to the subconscious mind. So when the small tongue touches the below tongue without the main tongue touching the upper jaw, you are giving energies to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind. When the upper tongue, the main tongue is touched to the upper jaw, it is giving energy to the conscious mind. Okay. So over here, Yara is giving energy to the subconscious mind, which is 10,000 times more stronger than the conscious mind, which is the basic nature of Rahu. Okay. And this Sha is Ketu. Over here the Aksha is Sushmana Nadi. Okay. So this was semi-vowels. Okay. Over here the time is absolute. Okay. Over here time is linear. Over here time is cyclic. Over here time is absolute. By absolute I mean Rahu and Ketu are having similar time. There is no time difference. The time difference dissolves. So this is why Rahu and Ketu are entrance to different dimensions. Okay, when the Ketu is getting stronger, you are going to the lower and lower side to the Patal Lok. Okay, you are going into a lower dimension, again a lower dimension, again a lower dimension. So whenever you need to change your frequency and you need to come down from the higher alternative frequency. Okay, suppose you are having this frequency and you want to come down to this frequency. Okay, then you increase your Ketu will pull down this frequency and you will come down. Okay, this is how you will come to a minor frequency. You will go to the Patal Lok. Okay, similar, if you are in a small frequency range and if you want to reach to the higher frequency, okay, if you want to increase your frequency, then you increase your Rahu and you will go to the Brahmalok, the upper plane. Your dimension will be increased. Your vibration are changing. So from Brahmalok you are going to the from Patal Lok you are going to the Brahmalok by increasing your frequency. From Brahmalok you are going to the Patal Lok by decreasing the frequency. Getting it? So this increase decrease we have to study in meditation. Still we are very far away for learning meditation. We are just learning the basics. So this was semi-vowels. Okay, so there are 9 semi-vowels, which is a 3 square. Okay, so this is how 3 square plus 4 square is equals to 5 square. In the 5 square we are giving sustenance. Okay, in the 4 square we are giving creation. Okay, over here what happens from Rahu and Ketu in the 9 square over here? What is happening? Over here it is happening destruction. Why destruction? Because when you are increasing your potential energy from head to pelvis, okay, so energy is either directed upwards and energy is being stored over here and it is radiated from here, or it is stored downwards and it is radiated from here. Okay, where is life? Life is in between Rahu and Ketu. Life is here. So life is a movement of soul between Rahu and Ketu. When the movement of soul between the Rahu and Ketu ends, your energy is either going to end towards Rahu. Okay, all your energy is shifted over here, or all your energy are going to shifted over here in the tail. Okay, so over here, if your energies are going down, it is Ketu. If your energies are going up, it is Rahu. Over here, if your energy is moving from Rahu and Ketu to Rahu, then you are having life. Okay, life is nothing else but prana. Prana. Prana is movement of soul. When the movement of soul stops, it will either stop on this end or it will either stop on this end. Okay, the movement of soul stops. It either stops on this end or it either stops on this end. Okay, it will either stop on Brahmalok, it will either stop on Patal Lok. Okay. So when this movement of energy between Rahu and Ketu stops, the potential difference becomes 0. You die. How simple? When there is potential difference, there is movement of energy. When there is no potential difference, there is no movement of energy. So, what do you do when someone is dying? What is Sanjeevani Vidya that was taught by Shukra? What do? You again start the potential difference in that person. You have 7 minutes. If in 7 minutes you can start the potential difference inside the body of that person, that body survives. The movement of the prana survives. Okay. The prana again starts to circulate from leg to head, head to legs. Okay, like this. So what you have to do to a dying man? A dying man, you just have to increase the potential difference. You have to give them additional potential difference. You have to give them a push. Okay, so when you give them a push of energy, okay, if you give them a push of prana energy, the movement again starts. With every push, the movement starts. So again, we are not talking about Sanjeevani Vidya over here. So it is just about movement of prana from Rahu to Ketu, that is from head to tail. It is the movement of energy inside your body. When the movement of energy is there inside the body, you are living. When there is no movement of energy inside the body, the energy is either going to stop in the head or it is either going to stop in the tail. Okay. In any case, the movement of energy has stopped and when the movement of energy has stopped, you died. Okay. So what does Rudra bring? Rudra bring destruction. So when there is no movement of soul from Rahu to Ketu or Ketu to Rahu, you die. Okay. Now the three extra swords over here is Ksha. See, Ksha over here is also Ksha is also a semi-vowel and Ksha is also an extra sword. Okay. So if you see over here, Ksha, Gna. This is Gna. Sorry, not Gya, Gna. Gna. Ksha, Gna and Ana. Ana. See, there is Ana. There is Ana in Gujarati. There is Ana in Sanskrit. I don't know why they removed Ana in Hindi. But there is Ana. So, Ksha, Gna and Ana. These are three extra swords. And these three extra swords are the swords of Shunya. Okay, so over here, the process stops. Creation, sustenance, destruction. Over here, there is feedback. There is feedback from this words. Okay, and this is Shunya. This is the sound of nature when you connect with the source. But we won't be discussing about this source because it is there is something which is called a highly profound knowledge. I am not over here saying that I won't release all the secrets, but there is a right time to release a lots of secrets. For right now, we are not releasing all these things because we still need a bigger base to understand this feedback system. Okay, how it is given feedback. From the feedback, you get transmigration. Transmigration is the cycle of soul. Your soul is getting transferred from one cycle to another cycle. So this feedback is Shunya. Okay, this feedback is giving transmigration. How you will get your next birth? How you will get a cyclic birth? Okay, that is Shunya. We are not discussing right now. It is too much of deeper topic. I will take around 30 minutes to just explain Shunya. Okay, so not talking about Shunya right now. Okay, so this was basic about Sanskrit. Okay, we just understand Sanskrit. Now we'll start understanding Vedas. We'll start picking up one by one what is Rig Veda, what is Kal Chakra, what is time, okay, what is Panchang. Everything will take one by one. But this video is certainly based on the Sanskrit. Okay, see, from this there is a categorization of also planets. There is a categorization of also tattvas. Okay, this is why I wrote all this over here, because see, over here there is a lot of categorization from these planets, from these tattvas. These tattvas are connected with planets. These planets are connected with tattvas, and these tattvas and planets are connected with the sustenance of the bodily system. From this sustenance and these tattvas and these planets, there is the connection of time. There is dasha going on in your life. Okay, that is why in the Mars dasha you do something, in the Jupiter dasha you do something, in the Venus dasha you do something. Okay, so from the tattvas, the planets are made. From the combination of planets and tattvas, there is movement of cyclic time. Okay, over here there are your karmas. Over here there is dharma. Dharma is over here. Karma is over here. Okay, and over here there is artha. Over here there is moksha. We are not talking about moksha right now. We are just talking about dharma, karma, artha. Okay, dharma, artha, karma. Dharma, artha, karma. Okay, from dharma you are created. From artha you get meaning to life. From karma you get a lifetime. Okay, so whatever you are living from this karma. Okay, how you are living? You are living from this earth. Who are you? You are the dharma. So creation, sustenance and destruction. Dharma, karma, artha. Because earth is destruction. Why is earth destruction? What gives meaning to life? Earth is meaning. What gives meaning to life? It is the death which gives meaning to life. If you are immortal, why would anyone do anything in this world? Everyone do everything in this world because they are going to die one day. So what gives meaning to this life? It is the death. Death is giving meaning to this life. If there was no death, who would care? Nobody would give any meaning to life. They would do whatever they want. They would live for eternity and keep on doing everything. For some people, they will do for 10 million years. I'll be a policeman. For 10 million years, I'll be a doctor. For 10 million years, I'll be an engineer. For 10 million years, I'll be a playboy. Okay, why would anyone care? What gives meaning to life is death. This destruction is giving meaning to life. That is why it is earth. Karma or karma is what the constants are. These planets are giving you karmas. For the karma, you are living different life. From one life to another life, another life to another life. Okay. And what is giving you creation? It is giving you Brahma. Okay. Dharma. The discipline of nature is giving you creation. Okay. So this was the basic, and I guess I have taken too long time in just explaining the basic. We still have to understand the Panchang and everything, but it's already 1 hour 25 minutes. I am not going to explain it right over here. I will make another video by tomorrow. This was the first video based on the basics of Vedas, and after the basics of Vedas, we are going to go deeper and deeper into our Vedas and Shastras. Okay, this was just the basic. Tomorrow we are going to learn about Panchang. We are going to learn about the Kal Chakra, what is time. We are also going to learn about the basic essence of God inside the body. Okay, which God is possible and made for which part of your body, which God is representing what inside your body. Okay, and what is God personified in our Vedas. Okay, what is inside our body, how is transmigration and rebirth process taking place, what are the different types of karmas, everything. But this was just the basic. If you don't know everything like over here, nothing is going to connect. Okay, so this is the basic connection. Okay, make a screenshot, write it in your book, because when I will be explaining the other things, I won't be writing this back. Okay, I will be writing this portion right over here just for the first 2 to 3 videos when I will be explaining something related to this. After this, you would have to remember this or write this so that in my next videos you remember the basic tables. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you to join the basics of Vedic science over here, the basics of all the Vedas and time. And I think you guys enjoyed this bulk of knowledge over here which I gave. And we'll be back tomorrow with some new learning. Okay, like the learning of Panchang, the learning of the movement of time, the movement of soul, and the transmigration. Okay, thank you very much.